You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly. You have successfully joined the webcast. Please stand by. The meeting will begin shortly.
Good morning. My name is George Haggerty, and before I call this meeting to order, I will note for the record that I will serve as the acting chair for today's meeting. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York Transportation Development Corporation for Thursday, November 9, 2023. I'd like to note for the record that this meeting is being webcast and that we welcome public comment on the items on our agenda. I will also note for the record that the public has been given the opportunity to comment on today's agenda item by submitting their written comments to nytdc@esd.ny.gov by 5 p.m. yesterday. I'd like to note that no comments were received from the public, and we do not have any members of the public here today to provide comment. The directors have received relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. Before we begin the substantive portion of the meeting, I'd like to ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to today's agenda item. If so, please make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time. We'll be sure that you may recuse yourself from any discussion or vote to the item. Hearing none, I would like now to ask Matthew Bray to present the only item on today's agenda, which relates to, among other things, the issuance of bonds by the corporation for the benefit of JFK NTO LLC to finance certain costs of John F. Kennedy International Airport New Terminal 1 project. Matthew, when you're ready, please begin.
Thank you. Good morning, directors. Today we are asking the board to authorize the performance of certain acts and take all related actions in connection with the sale and delivery of the New York Transportation Development Corporation Special Facilities Revenue Bonds, Series 2023, John F. Kennedy International Airport New Terminal 1 Project, Green Bonds. In December 2019, the corporation authorized inducement of the financing of certain aspects of the redevelopment, construction, financing, operation, and maintenance of the new Terminal 1 passenger terminal facility at John F. Kennedy International Airport at terminal facilities known as Terminal 1, Terminal 2, and Terminal 3. Subsequently, in June 2022, the corporation approved the operative provisions, terms, and transactions contemplated by the senior debt financing documents, and the corporation entered into bank loans in connection with the project. The project is being developed by JFK NTO LLC, or the lessee. The lessee is a special purpose Delaware limited liability company, all the interests of which on the closing date will be indirectly owned by Mars NTO LLC, JLC Infrastructure, and an affiliate of Ulico, Inc. The lessee will be the tenant under the lease agreement between the lessee and the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. The lessee has requested that the corporation issue the Series 2023 bonds to finance or refinance a portion of the costs of Phase A of the project and to pay certain costs of issuance related to the Series 2023 bonds. Initial financing of the project commenced in June 2022 pursuant to an amended and restated credit agreement, an amended and restated common terms agreement, and building loan and project loan agreements which effectuate the on-lending to the lessee of advances made by banks and financial institutions under the credit agreement, and the proceeds from future tax-exempt and taxable bond issuances by the corporation. The corporation is the conduit issuer under the credit agreement and passes through the borrowings to lessee through the loan agreements. The credit agreement provides for initial loan to fund project costs in an aggregate principal amount of approximately $1.43 billion, and additional commitments in aggregate principal amount of approximately $5.2 billion. The project is expected to be completed in 3 phases, the first of which commenced in June 2022 and is expected to open in June 2026. The project has been and will continue to be funded with equity to be provided by the financial sponsors and through third-party debt, borrowed or to be borrowed and on loan by the corporation or bonds issued by the corporation. The third-party debt includes and is expected to continue to include bank loan facilities and is expected to include tax-exempt and taxable bonds issued by the corporation. A banking syndicate, which does not include the financial sponsors, has committed to make available the bank loan facilities having a floating rate of interest, which has been and will be dispersed to the corporation as needed to fund construction costs, thereby reducing the carrying costs of the financing. Under the plan of finance for the project, it is anticipated the corporation will issue fixed interest rate, tax-exempt and/or taxable bonds at 2 or more times in 2 or more series to provide proceeds sufficient in amount to refinance and prepay all or a portion of the bank loans and/or project costs, thereby providing long-term financing for the project. The lessee has requested the corporation designate the bonds as green bonds and has engaged Kestrel to provide an opinion regarding such designation. The Series 2023 bonds will be issued and secured under a master indenture of trust by and among the corporation, the Bank of New York Mellon as trustee, and the lessee, as amended and supplemented by a first supplemental indenture of trust. The Series 2023 bonds will be special limited obligations of the corporation to be repaid solely from loan payments and other payments made by the lessee to the corporation pursuant to the loan agreements. The Series 2023 bonds, all or a portion of which may be insured, are secured ratably with the other secured obligations in accordance with the common terms agreement. The Series 2023 bonds and related financial agreements are not an obligation of the State of New York or any political subdivision thereof, and neither the State of New York nor any political subdivision thereof shall be liable. In accordance with the attached resolution, you are hereby requested to 1. Approve the terms and authorize the sale of the Series 2023 bonds on a negotiated basis. 2. Approve the form and content of the official statement and various other documents in connection with the sale and delivery of the Series 2023 bonds. And 3. Authorize certain officers and employees of the corporation to take all actions deemed necessary to accomplish the final sale and delivery of the Series 2023 bonds. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
As a reminder, we do not have any comments from the public in regard to this item. Are there any questions or comments from the directors in regard to this item?
No.
I have one. Matthew, do I understand correctly that this is financing and refinancing 1.43 billion of the 2023 series?
The total issuance is expected to be about $1.5 billion.
And the total project projected to be 5.2, is that
The
correct?
total project cost is about $8.4 billion.
What was the 5.2 number?
That's additional bank facilities that are available in addition to the 1.43 billion that they drew down at closing.
Okay. All right, I got it. Any other questions or comments from directors with regard to this item? Hearing none, I will now entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. There being no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your participation in today's meeting. We're done.
Aye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Anytime. Good to see you guys.